Katie McLaughlin here, founder and owner of Cedar Rose Counseling and Wellness, where I'm the sole clinician providing individual anxiety counseling services to teens and young adults to help them feel calm, confident, and in control. Through years of education, training, and my personal experience while in the field of counseling, here are my top 5 tips for being an effective listener. Tip number 1 is to take yourself out of the equation. More often than not, when someone is coming to you in hopes of receiving a listening ear or having a really good conversation, they are simply wanting their thoughts and emotions to be heard and validated. This requires you as the listener to take a step back and to realize that this time is not necessarily a place for you to share your personal experiences or anecdotes. If you choose to do so, the person that you are speaking to will likely begin to feel dismissed, as if they're not being heard or they're not being taken seriously. Even if you've been in a very similar situation as this person is describing, you cannot possibly fully comprehend what it is that they have been through, simply because you haven't ever walked a day in their shoes. Once we can truly understand this fact of life, it makes it much easier to listen with curiosity rather than comparing all of their experiences to our own. Tip number 2 is to know when you are not paying attention. One of the cornerstones of effective listening is paying attention and being aware of when your mind wanders off topic, because I promise you that it will. It's just what the brain does. Simply put, it's your job to be aware of when your mind does wander off so you can bring it back to the topic at hand. A wonderful practice for being able to cultivate this awareness and the ability to bring your attention back is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is simply a practice of paying attention to the present moment and being aware of when our mind starts to wander off, what types of thoughts are maybe distracting us. And in this practice, when we become aware of our mind wandering off topic, we gently bring it back to our focus, whether that is on our breath, perhaps a meditation, the sounds of nature outside, whatever you chose to focus on. When we engage in this practice again and again, we are strengthening that mindful awareness muscle, and so it'll become much easier to focus. Tip number 3 is to let them know that you're following their story. Even if you don't fully relate or understand what the person is talking about, you can still do your best to reflect or summarize what you've heard them say. You don't even have to worry if you get some details wrong here. The listener is going to appreciate your attempts at following their story, and they'll make corrections as you go so that they make sure that you're understanding what they're saying. Some examples of reflections could start out by saying, "If I'm hearing you correctly," or "What I'm hearing you say is," it does not have to be fancy or complicated at all. Just do your best to summarize what you've heard. Tip number 4, there is no right thing to say. This is often the part about listening that makes people kind of steer clear of conversations. It's this fear of saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. But is there actually a right thing to say or a perfect time to say it? In any conversation, no matter the topic, all we can do is our best to be in it with the speaker. As long as you are trying your best to understand what they're saying and you're allowing the speaker to explore their thoughts and emotions so they're feeling heard and validated as they do so, they're likely going to be a happy camper. My 5th tip for you today is to leave your judgment at the door. When someone is coming to you in hopes of being heard, it's unlikely that they are searching for criticism or judgment, unless maybe they're asking for it specifically. So it's best to simply ask the speaker, what are you looking for in this conversation? Are you hoping for some constructive criticism, looking for help to solve a problem, or are you simply wanting to be heard right now? Once you know their goal, then you can adapt your response to meet their need.